Another real life story. 1974. I graduated with a BA from Rutgers University, political science with a minor in urban planning. And in the middle of August 1974, my college roommate, Steve Friedman from Paterson, New Jersey, he and I had decided to take a cross-country trip. The trip lasted nearly 2 months, so from the middle of August to almost the middle of October. We left New Jersey and went to Ohio and visited with my Aunt Winona and her family. I think we stayed 2 nights, I'm not really sure, but that was a good start, good place to start. And we made our way out to Indiana from there and stayed at the Indiana Hills sand dunes. I think that was a state park. I'd never really seen sand dunes quite like that. That was a good start. Moving west, we went to the Iowa State Fair and got to see our first tractor pull. That was very interesting. Neither of us had ever seen a tractor pull before. And we also got to see Red Fox, a comedian at that time, who was vulgar. I think he was also drunk. That was not so fun. Anyway, heading farther west, heading from Iowa into South Dakota. As you start seeing signs for wall drug 500 miles, wall drug 300 miles, wall drug 150 miles. Consequently, Steve and I had to stop at wall drug. I don't remember much of it. I'm not sure we bought anything. But we also, following that, we went to the Badlands in South Dakota. Now that really is awesome. That's, excuse me, very unique. Terrible erosion, but it actually has a beauty of its own. I would also have to suspect that they have fossils. It just seems that that would be a perfect place for fossils. Somewhere along the line, we also stopped at the Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. I had been there when I was 9 years old with my parents. My father, the first year that he had a 3-week vacation, we went across the country for all 3 weeks. And one of the places that we stopped was the Corn Palace in South Dakota. So here it was, I don't know what, 15 years later, and stopping at the Corn Palace. Moving west into Wyoming. I believe we actually saw a rodeo in Laramie, which was cool. Laramie, Wyoming. Heading west, we went up and over the Bighorn Mountains, and we got to the Yellowstone National Park, and someplace there we learned that the night after we crossed the Bighorn Mountains, they had 8 or 9 inches of snow. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, every night was getting colder and colder. It was now, in Wyoming, it was now below freezing every single night. Steve was a city boy. He actually liked to keep our room close to 80 degrees. I never really liked that very much, so I was always opening the window, letting the heat out. But it was too cold for him. He was having trouble in Wyoming. We kind of blew through Yellowstone. Yellowstone, you could easily spend at least a week. There's so much to see and do. It is so beautiful. It is so different, so unique. But I think we blew through there in like 2 days and went south down to the Grand Tetons. Again, stunningly gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. One evening we had driven into town, I guess Jackson, and on the way back, the Grand Tetons Mountains were silhouetted against a purple sky. Here in Colorado, and the collegiate peaks that are directly west of where I'm sitting, that happens a lot. But for 2 kids from New Jersey, had never seen it before. It was stunning. I think Steve and I pulled the car over and we just watched until it was dark, taking pictures and just loving the beauty. He and I also climbed up, part way up, Grand Teton, and we were hoping to get way up to this snowfield. We never got close to it, but we did get up to a snowfield, and we were pretending to ski down on our boots. It was, the Tetons are amazing, but he really couldn't go any further west. The original plan was to go to out into Oregon and to get to the ocean, to get to the shore. It was too cold, and Steve really needed to get down where it was warmer. So we went south. We went south into Utah. That was not the original plan, but it turned out to be spectacular. Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon is one of my favorite national parks anywhere, anytime. The colors, the shapes, the hoodoos. I think Bryce Canyon is spectacular. And it's like a shrunk down Grand Canyon. So you can walk down into it easily and walk around among the hoodoos, and the colors are just spectacular. We also did a brief stop in Zion National Park. And I think that's it. I don't think we did anything else in Utah, but we started heading west, and we needed to go through Nevada because we were heading for California. We needed to go through Nevada, so we did that. Probably left late afternoon so that we were driving through Nevada basically at night, so it wouldn't be 100 degrees plus, which could jeopardize the car. We drove Steve's, I think he had a 1972 Chevy Nova, I believe it was. That's probably that car would probably be priceless at this point here in 2026. But so we took it easy on the car and we drove through Nevada. We stopped in Las Vegas. I believe we got there at like maybe 11 o'clock at night. And we found a school that was open because men were playing basketball at the school. So we actually took a shower in their gym and then went out on the town in Las Vegas. My observation, and I think we were probably on the town until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, walking up and down the streets. It was the saddest place I had ever experienced. There are people who are just driven by this gambling addiction, and they're wandering around, some of them in their bathrobe and their slippers, walking down the street, heading for the next casino, with expressionless, dead, emotionally dead. It was the saddest place I have ever experienced. Very sad. Headed west, went to Yosemite National Park. I believe we went there first. We also went to Sequoia National Park. I don't remember exactly which order, but Yosemite may be the most well-rounded national park. It seems to have everything. It's got beauty beyond belief. It has monstrous mountains, gorgeous forests. You've got El Capitan, 3,000-foot vertical granite. You have Half Dome and North Dome, and the valley is spectacular. The alpine meadows are also equally spectacular, but in a different way. My gosh. What a national park. Yosemite was really something. We did go to Sequoia National Park with the huge, monstrous trees. That was a joy as well. Ultimately, heading for San Francisco. Steve's older sister had an apartment that she had rented recently, and so we stayed a couple nights in San Francisco. Unfortunately, the weather was hideous. It was socked in with fog and drizzle and mist and rain and cold and high humidity, and I don't see the attraction personally. But that was San Francisco. We made our way then toward Arizona. And I believe we probably spent at least 5 days at the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon National Park is gorgeous. It's immense. It's unique. Depending on the time of day, the colors are different. We also hiked down, I think we took the Bright